See, a signature like this is impressive in the kind of bad sense of the term. In Ocala, there's clearly a ton of rotation, and this may drop a tornado, may kind of go back up again, may drop another one. But this pulling to the northeast now of Ocala, still parts of Ocala, but just pulling to the northeast side, close to Silver Springs, watching along 326 Indian Lake State Forest. Again, we're about to get toward the forest as a whole, the
Ocala National Forest.
Ocala National Forest, but right on the edge of it. We got a lot of homes through here.
At least we're getting it out of downtown Ocala. But we're going to keep this moving east-northeast at 35 miles an hour. So right along Highway 40 here, northeast side of Ocala, that's where the main threat level is with this, and where we kind of see the bright red and the green. I know these maps perhaps not that familiar to you, but this is how we diagnose. This is the nuts and bolts of what we do to keep you informed when a storm is coming through. And also picking up some little fuchsia pixels in here. Some of that is going to be a little bit of noise, but that's certainly a sign of some instability in the atmosphere right along Highway 40, just on the east side of Ocala. And as we expected, there is now another tornado warning coming in from the Gulf Coast. It's going to be in the Citrus County area, Brian, where they had the tornado reports earlier coming in from Crystal River. So we've got another tornadic cell right here that's going to be making its way on shore and coming right toward the emergency officials in Crystal River, who are still under the gun of this heavy thunderstorm and the damage. And here comes another one that may be right on top of Crystal River again. Yeah, and that's close to some of the locations we were tracking about an hour ago as we were watching that tornadic thunderstorm rolling through Ocala. This kind of that training action, another one. So we have three really distinct and discrete areas. Two of them have produced tornadoes. Both of these have produced wind damage. Sumter County. New one for Sumter now. That's going to be right there. So they took it all the way over to the Lake County line. Yeah. So that until 3:45. That's going to be till 3:45, I believe. Okay. Yep, 3:45. So we're just on Fruitland Park, Leesburg, the Villages South Side. We are watching you. Again, you're right on the edge of the warning. So as you get toward Wildwood, back towards Silver Lake, even keeping an eye on Tavares as we get into Lake County, keeping an eye on Umatilla, Astatula. So watching this, working our way. But right now in Sumter County, here it is, again, right near Webster. So we're about 7 or so miles away from being near Webster. This has produced a tornado. Taking those tornado precautions. Again, Bats Hub may be the safest place. You may want to bring a few blankets or pillows. That's always a good idea, just in case there's any debris. Not trying to be alarming, but we've had the history of damage. May want to have your shoes on just in case there's any glass around if this does drop a tornado. And again, you can see it right here, Tom, as Tom zooms down. Tell us what we're seeing. Yeah, 50 and 301. So just north of Highway 50. This is a beautiful drive through here, State Forest area, but right along 301. That's where we're starting to get the most rotation in this particular storm. So right along 50, 301, Sumter County, coming up very soon, right through that central core of Sumter County. New tornado warning until 3:45. Let me zoom out here. We have other storms. We're still watching you up in Ocala, and we still have a new one that just came on shore that's heading toward Crystal River, where they've already had damage from storms earlier today. So there's the time lapse. You can see it. I'll go ahead and stop it right now. Let's start to the north, Brian. We'll work our way south. Let's see what the update is on this storm that's on the east side of Ocala. That's going to be right along Highway 40, and again, it's moving due east, so kind of east-northeast now. And, yeah, it's just kind of a broad area of spin here right along 326 and Highway 40. So fortunately we get more rural as we get farther to the east, but that means we get into some areas that may have less substantial structures, trailers, mobile homes, manufactured homes that may not hold up too well to some of the gusty winds with that. So that is the first storm, Brian. That's until 3:45, and that's moving east at 35 miles an hour. Yeah, so near Silver Springs, moving over toward the Ocala National Forest. We have that one. And then Tom now is moving to the south for this tornado warning, and this has produced a tornado. This is moving into Sumter County. This warning goes out until 3:45, right over toward the Lake County line. So Lake County, we are keeping an eye on you down the road. Tom putting an updated track on this.
to give you the very latest on this. Again, right near Webster, again, we're taking those tornado precautions as this moves closer. Webster, Center Hill, taking those tornado precautions indoors and away from windows. And there's the latest info.
Yeah, Center Hill about 10 minutes away, 20 minutes away. So we're coming right. Here's the turnpike. Here's 91, FL 91, the turnpike. So 75 in the turnpike, they're going to merge up here, but this is going to be right in that corridor, Sumter County. So you're under this tornado warning till 3:45. Again, this same storm has produced damage earlier today in the Clearwater area. So we know these storms have been producing quite a bit. So we really have 4 different tornado warnings. The newest one just coming on shore. That's going to unfortunately be very close to Crystal River, where they have damage from an earlier system. There's the cell that's east of Ocala now, moving over the National Forest, Highway 40, and that's going to be right along Highway 50 now. We're still comfortably far west of the I-4 corridor here. We're keeping an eye on things. These will all be on the north side, but we're really going to have to keep an eye on not only our friends in Sumter County, eastern side of Marion County, but also moving into parts of Lake County. You're going to be next, especially for this storm that's back here to the west. And we still got to keep an eye on that guy right there, see if it wants to move back in toward southwest Sumter, southwest Marion County.
And this new warning over here toward Crystal River, again, there's probably some power outages in there because of because of some of the damage, and they have a new tornado warning that has been issued close to Homosassa, Sugar Mill Woods, right through there. So as you get toward Hernando, and if this all hangs together, again, watching the same areas we were before.
Show a couple of the storm reports here, Brian.
Yeah, so that's from earlier. This was from about 2:15. This was a roof damage and power lines down. And this was from an emergency management official that was out there. Emergency manager was seeing this. So again, we've had confirmed tornadoes out of these cells. It's not a maybe. We've had it, and you can see some more of the damage here in this again, also Crystal River area, Tom.
All right, so we've had damage here. That was earlier today. Now we have another tornado warning that's coming in to central and western sections of that Citrus County area. But we still have tornado warnings. Let's go back into Marion County. Forgive me driving the ship here. It's been a long day, but we've got storms now moving on the east side fairly quickly now, moving in. Probably going to move out of the tornado warning area. They may have to reconfigure this warning. It's kind of been moving more due east than northeast, Brian, but it's right on Highway 40 here. We're well east of downtown Ocala, well east of 75. We could see it when it was over Highway 275. It was very windy and rainy. Now that's going to be moving just pretty much parallel to 40, just on the northeast side. They may have to go ahead and extend this warning a little bit farther toward the east across eastern sections of Marion County, getting into some pretty rural areas, the Ocala National Forest over here, and what kind of location?
Get over toward Connor over here, so along 40. So watching, getting over toward Connor, you get over toward Grateful Hammock, and then you get over toward Royal Painting. So looking at that, so
there's a couple of those locations.
Yeah, so we got a few spots in here just to give you kind of that heads up. As Tom was mentioning, a little bit more to the east, so that's a good eye there, Tom, across 40. There you go.
So if you're in one of these areas right along Highway 40, if your weather radio's gotten off, you're waking up going, what's going on here? We do have a tornado that could be producing, or a storm could be producing a tornado at any time, right along Highway 40, Bruceville, Cedar Creek. So again, some more rural areas here on the north side of Highway 40. And I was on the air at almost this exact same time back in 2007 when we had the Groundhog's Day tornado outbreak, and it was up in parts of the villages right along 42. We don't have indications this is another one of those nights, but certainly one of these late-night nocturnal tornado events can be producing damage, and it's very hard to know because it's so dark and so late at night.
Yeah, back in 07 over toward Lake Mac again. Hopefully nothing like that, but that was a long
both
track.
Here.
Yeah, we were high. We were
both here.
Blooding. Yeah, we were tracking that, moving across in the middle of the night. But Tom now is zooming down into.
See how we're looking here on this.
Yeah. So we got a couple spots here. The one behind it, but as you get toward there into
So
Sumter.
that's going to be, if we have anything, it's going to be south of Bushnell right now.
It's almost splitting Bushnell Center Hill, closer to Center Hill.
See, if you're watching along with us at home, this is kind of how we do this. But you can see the little bit of green and red. I subtracted the storm motion out, so it kind of shows up well right through here.
Webster, it's going to be moving right on top of Webster.
Yeah.
So kind of in between Bushel, Webster, right in here. So Webster tornado precautions. This did produce that tornado earlier. So right into Webster. That's County Road 478 right through there. So Webster, Center Hill, tornado precautions. And yeah, regardless of if this is producing a tornado or keeps producing a tornado, we are watching down the road. Tom mentioned Lake County. Keep an eye on Leesburg, Okahumpka, Astatula, Mascot, Groveland, Claremont, as all of this action moves a little bit closer. But this, again, just south of Bushnell.
Yeah, we're right in the Bushnell area right now. Bevel's Corner, Webster, Center Hill, Okahumpka. And after the 2007 tornado outbreak, we found we didn't really have very good weather radio coverage in this part of Sumter County. We worked with with Congress actually to get a new weather radio transmitter up in record time for the Sumterville area. So hopefully your weather radio has been going off if you have one that you got from that very deadly year, 2007. But Bushnell over toward Bevel's Corner, Center Hill, go ahead and take your tornado precautions. It doesn't look quite as tightly wrapped.
Not as it was before.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
And
also St. Catherine, so you get towards St. Catherine watching that, yeah.
And let's see what else we got. So here's the other one that's back here to the west. That's the Spring Lake area. So that's going to be, yeah, that's still holding together pretty well too. So another storm right on 75. That's going to.
You don't want to just get any information. You want to get the right information.
This happened last night, this is what's happening now, and this is how it's going to affect your day later on.
That way you're ready. Nothing is a surprise to you, and you have what you need for the day ahead.
So we plan your day with weather and traffic so that you don't have to be late.
Whatever you're doing, you know what the weather is going to be at that time.
The most valuable information in the quickest amount of time. That's what we do.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning, live weekdays starting at 4:30 a.m.
When we get a big story and we learn about breaking news, that's our jam.
There is a team of journalists putting their resources together to find out what happened.
Calling their sources, the drones going up.
So that we can make sure that every angle of the story is covered.
And we're using all of that to bring you with us during the story. Anyone can be first, but you have to get it right.
We take that responsibility of making sure our information is accurate seriously.
Credibility is at the core of eyewitness news.
It's a privilege to be Central Florida's chief meteorologist. It's something that I take internally. I've spent the last half of my life doing this every day in Central Florida. We pool all of our resources here in Severe Weather Center 9 to give you the latest advanced warning so you can take those early steps to keep your family safe. You have to build that trust over the years, and that's what I always strive for every day. Keep building trust. I try to get every day right, and I won't stop. I'm here to keep you safe.
On WFTV tonight, we give you a new look at the day's biggest story.
A deeper, new perspective.
Uncovering the newest breaking information live.
And breaking down new details.
WFTV tonight, weeknights at 11, only on Channel 9.
Download the all-new WFTV weather app. Take control of Doppler 9 HD radar and get a localized forecast from Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry. Download for free in your app store today. Just search WFTV.
It's going to shake up your day if you don't know what to expect.
Whereas that warning out until 3:45, but
let's see if I can find a few locations on here. Fortunately, we're getting away from the more densely populated areas here, so.
Yeah, you're getting closer to Lake George. Where's Lake George? Yeah, you're getting closer to Lake George. You got Cedar Creek through there.
So we're pretty much over the Ocala Wildlife Management Area, Highway 40. Yeah, I'm taking a look at Ocala National Forest. We're going to be south of Salt Springs. So this is about as rural area as we can get it for eastern sections of Marion County, which is the best news I've been able to pass along in the last 2 hours.
Yep. So that's working its way to the east, and we'll see how that progresses. Eventually, still keep an eye on parts of Volusia, Flagler down the road. But that one's been hanging together. So, Yeah, watching that. There are a few homes in there, but there's a lot of dirt roads and that sort of thing as you get back through here through the forest. And then we swing to the south. Here's Sumter County. So here's I-75. Here's the Turnpike. We have this warning that goes out right to the Sumter Lake line, Center Hill, over towards St. Catherine. The potential of a tornado. This one also did produce a tornado earlier. So watching Bushnell south over toward, there's Webster right there. Heaviest weather near Webster, a potential tornado. You're taking your tornado precautions in potentially a closet away from windows as this moves by in Sumter County. This warning out until 3:45. So watching near Webster, St. Catherine, and then over toward Center Hill. That's where the rotation would be. And then we'll keep an eye on Lake County down the road.
Yeah, so that storm, everything is moving pretty much northeast, east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. We're still pretty comfortably west of the I-4 corridor. If you're just joining us here, 3:30, almost 3:32. These storms have been in our western zones. They're coming on shore from the Gulf Coast. I was tracking these last night and after midnight, and eventually they made landfall. They did produce damage in the Clearwater area. That's a new severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see where we have that.
So this is by the Sumter County Fairgrounds. That's the one, Tom, in Marion County.
Okay.
And you could see they oriented like more of what you were saying. So did they drop the? I think
they did drop it. The tornado part of that, which is good. I mean, we have Weather Service officials up in Jacksonville looking at the same day that we're looking at here, but they did issue a severe thunderstorm warning out for that cell until 4 a.m. Severe thunderstorm located near Lynn, moving northeast at 35. 60-mile-per-hour wind is the main issue there. But they went ahead and, of course, said remain alert for a possible tornado. Yeah. And I would definitely say that it still is a possibility here, even though it looks like it's broadened just a little bit. Some of the red and the green are a little bit more elongated now, so that's hopefully a good sign that this storm will still be producing some winds, but not the rotational wind. But you can kind of see they put tornado possible on the threat.
Yeah. And that's going to be very close to extreme northern Volusia and then eventually into Flagler County. So just watching our viewing area down the road. So hopefully the rain out ahead of that did kind of stabilize the atmosphere.
What we did back here again.
And then we got another one. So it's one after another coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. We have 3 lined up, really 4, because we have this one is for this cell, I believe. And then we have that one there that's moving through. Or is that just an extension? Do we have 2?
I think we may actually have 2 discrete cells.
We have 2 down there.
You know, I have a way of finding out. Let's see what we can find down here.
Right, there should be, there's 2.
Yeah, there's 2 discrete cells right through there. So one of them.
It's the same spots. We've been seeing a tornado warning and then another possible tornado about an hour back behind it in the same locations. Yeah, 2 different spots watching near St. Catherine and Webster. And then this here, and this is again going to roll right across 75, another potential tornado across 75, very close to the Sumter County line.
Yeah. I'll just ask if we get any reports of anything, feel free to get in our ears and let us know. Figured that goes without saying there. He's absolutely. So we still have the tornado threat mainly here to the west right now, Brian, coming on shore from the Gulf of Mexico. And this is kind of our great tool, our Doppler radars. We've been using these for decades, trying to find the most troublesome storms. And just to give you the full picture here, as we approach 3:35, we have still quiet weather for Metro Orlando. We're going to be watching this storm as it comes into southern Sumter County now. This may extend a little bit farther east toward the Lake County line here soon. We'll wait and see on that. They went ahead and took the tornado warning and turned it into a severe thunderstorm warning. That's in the far eastern sections of Marion County. But, Brian, once again, we are spinning coming in from the Gulf Coast, so it's not over yet.
Yeah, these are long track, well, hopefully not long track tornadoes, but we've had the history of tornadoes. They are long-lived supercells that have been moving in. So, and Thomas mentioned that one in Marion County, very rural area, severe thunderstorm warning, but he's been showing that rotation in this, and a tornado is very possible still out of this one. And then we'll keep an eye. Here's northern Volusia, get toward Lake George in Flagler County. Tornado very possible out of this.
Watch that southern edge right there.
And again, there's very, very few homes through here as we get back through the forest, but there are a few, and we're watching you in there, and a tornado is possible out of that one. That severe thunderstorm warning goes until 4 this morning.
So right now, as you just get started, 3:35, we've been watching several rotating storms coming in from the Gulf Coast. Let me zoom in a little bit more here. We've had a lot of weather. Get down close. Let's see, here's the LT.
I think part of the Sumter one, did that expire? And then we're watching the one back behind it.
Yeah, so the one back behind it did expire.
So here's coming through Webster here. You see this, and this is strong. This is at least a strong storm. That'll head toward Okahumpka. There still is rotation with near Webster.
Yeah, there's a little bit of rotation here, Brian. We'll see if this wants to strengthen.
Not as much, but yeah.
Yeah, fortunately, it has weakened somewhat, but go ahead and just stay hunkered where you are here in the Webster area.
100%.
And then we cross over. So this will be getting into Lake County. So we're waiting to see if this will kind of hold together moving into Lake County or if it's going to stay weaker. This cell is coming in now just on the southwest side of Sumter County. So we're east of Brooksville, approaching 301. And this, and again, is right over I-75 and Highway 50. So in that same area that's been hammered a couple of times with heavy rain and wind. So tornado warning out for right now. That's until 3:45. Hernando Pasco now coming into Sumter County.
Yeah, so again, it's deja vu. Again, another area back behind it coming in. So watching once again in Bushnell, we just had some heavier weather just south and east, but that new tornado warning that is back behind it. This is the Crystal River area where there's already been damage of a tornado, and that possible tornado rolled into Marion County, but this tornado warning until 3:45.
Yeah, I think the Weather Service keeps changing. They keep tweaking the radar to kind of keep ahead of the storm cells themselves. So not showing up quite as clearly, but that is still a rotating storm over Crystal River, where they've had 2 reports of damage from storms about an hour and a half ago. And we're still seeing the storms are coming in near Cedar Key as well. So that's going to be Levy County. And that one is going to be likely coming into southwestern sections of Alachua County and western sections of Marion County. So that storm cell we're keeping an eye on. This is the only one we have that is officially for Sumter County at this time. So let me widen out to actually, no, that's to the west. Here's the one in Sumter. So as we show you here, dark and early, we have a pretty complicated storm setup. There's a big low in the Gulf of Mexico we were watching earlier today, and really the last couple of days, Brian. It's now coming on shore somewhere right up in here. So we kind of have this maximum amount of spin. It's almost like a little bit of a tropical feel to it out there.
Yeah.
And usually when we're on the east side of a tropical low, whether it's fully tropical or not, we still have a lot of wind shear, and that's what we're seeing out of these discrete cells tonight.
Yeah, and we're seeing this rolling in from the Gulf of Mexico. It is so humid out there. The tropical air mass is in place. You felt it late yesterday, and you feel it again overnight and this morning, and it's cell after cell. There's more stuff out here. We'll keep an eye on that. But right now, a severe thunderstorm warning, northeastern sections of Marion County. That could produce a tornado. We'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully some weakening, because in Flagler and Volusia, we've had a good amount of just rain around, some storms as well, but rain around, and that hopefully will stabilize the atmosphere as that severe thunderstorm warning starts to work in. And then we get back here, Sumter County. It's been one after another near Webster, near Center Hill, and heavier weather working its way into Lake County. So watching that. What Tom is doing here is he's watching this warning. He's watching the cell out ahead of it and trying to find some of the rotation in this. But this is, again, this is almost right across 75, right there, moving it. Here's the Sumter County line, about to move into Sumter County again. Another at least severe thunderstorm with the possibility of a tornado on top of 75 right now, Tom, and that's just minutes away from moving again into Sumter County.
One thing we have seen, hopefully this will continue though, is that we're losing some of the broad rotation with this cell. So these will hopefully not be a long track, little mini supercells coming through, but right along Highway 98, right there, 98 and 75 is where we have another potential tornado, or at least some wind damage to lowering in the Lacucci area here, right along 301 and approaching the Webster area. So that cell continues to have a little bit of broad spin, but probably not enough to put a tornado warning on, but we're still keeping an eye on you there. Then we started crossing over in toward the Okahumpka area. Here's 20 27. We're getting closer on the southwest side of the Villages, although you're okay now, and moving into parts of Lake County.
Yeah, so very busy morning. There's more stuff back to the west, but Tom was saying last night, again, the busiest time to roughly be, it was busy yesterday for him, but, 2 to about 5, 6 in the morning, and that's what we have. And we're watching this, and these just lined up.
Like fish in a barrel.
Yep. So we're going to see, what we do is we look ahead of the game and just kind of see as they start to pull on shore how much rotation we're seeing out of these, and then there's going to be at least a few more warnings out of these, but it's these 3 right here plus the severe thunderstorm warning right by Lake George that is moving in. But 1, 2, 3 right there. This one will stay north of us, but watching this one here by Crystal River, that'll work its way in, and then again in Sumter County, once again near Bushnell, we have that tornado warning that is out, and that tornado warning until 3:45, and we'll see in a couple minutes what they do with that warning. Now, almost all of us, under tornado watch until 9 this morning, not including Brevard County. Again, if we're not mentioning you, we're watching you, but it's always a good thing when we're not mentioning you in a situation like this.
Oh, yeah.
Brevard, we've been in better shape. Most of it has been north and back to the west. And here's a look at Future Track, kind of a more high-resolution model. This is about an hour
the next
from now.
hour, right. Yeah. So we're going to take the storms over here, work them toward the north and east. This model may be just a little bit fast, but generally
it's pretty close to what its timing is a little off.
Yeah,
but
let me, I can fix this here.
Yeah, so this is a computer model. It gives us a feel, and then we have a good idea if it's initializing correctly, if it's kind of seeing the environment the right way. And this model has been doing a good job. Tom's been watching that, and he's able to kind of tweak some of the, it's a computer. He's able to kind of tweak some of it based on what we're seeing now. So again, there he is pulling in that data. And again, it is a weather alert day. We issued that yesterday. We don't like to issue a lot of those.
Yeah.
We like to do it when there's going to be significant weather. We don't want to be alarmist, and that's been the case yesterday, late yesterday, last night, and now this morning. All right, Tom.
So by 4:45, roughly the same outlook here, moving this across Lake, parts of Marion County, eventually in toward parts of Volusia and Flagler County. And behind this, still seeing some isolated little pockets in here. It's kind of hard to judge what that would be, but we're still watching some rotation off in the open Gulf. And a lot of this, the axis will start shifting north, but we're still going to keep an eye on some of these little tiny ones here through at least daybreak, I would suspect.
Yeah, and I know pretty soon we're about to hit 4 o'clock. A lot of folks wake up at 4 o'clock, and you're trying to get out to work and school, and we'll see how that's all handled with some of the warnings. I know the school systems were on top of it yesterday with canceling some of the outdoor stuff yesterday evening with the threat of bad weather. So again, Sumter County under the gun right now with what we're seeing again near Webster. So as we this warning goes out until 3:45 time, we're at 3:43 now. So we're going to see if they expand this warning. They have not done so yet.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's hope we get a weakening trend out of that.
Yeah, so these storms really were essentially rotating kind of tornadic water spouts over the Gulf. They were lined up at midnight. Trust me, we were tracking them back here. So they continue to move on shore. The environment is still fairly conducive for more rotation. There's still a lot of wind coming in out of the south, very humid environment out there. So we're still keeping an eye for any additional development in these cells that are farther out in the open Gulf Coast. But right now, as we zoom out a little bit, it's kind of herky-jerky, my apologies. But right now, that is going to be the storm that we're tracking coming through the southwestern sections of Sumter County. This one coming into Citrus County, very close to Crystal River, that already had damage, and the one that's buried under the banner, that's coming into Levy County. The rest of the area just getting some kind of light to moderate breezy showers right now.
Yeah, so that's the setup now, and watching more stuff back to the west. Hopefully that warning does expire.
Getting several flood advisories too now, Brian, for Hernando, Pasco, Sumter. So this is where we've had repeat rounds of very heavy amounts of rain, 1 to 4 inches. Have already fallen in this area. In fact, I can put that.
Yeah, with these, you get a quick couple inches of rain, which we can handle, but then you get another storm rolling right in the same spot, another quick couple inches of rain. So some of those flood advisories out. And again, a lot of the dirt roads would be taking on some of the water through here, obviously, easily. So monitoring that, and that's why some of the flood advisories have been issued. What Tom's putting on the rainfall totals that we've had. And you can almost see, this is just interesting to see, just it's been trailing raining over some of these same areas. Of course, the storm itself goes over this area, but we've been seeing multiple storms going over some of the same areas. So already a couple inches of rain in south central Sumter County, and this data will lag a little bit. We're still, obviously, it's still raining in spots. So again, already a couple inches of rain, but you can see again upwards of 2, 3, almost 4 inches of rain up toward Marion County.
So that's where we kind of have some flood advisories in these kind of narrow corridors here, where you've already seen a lot of wind and a lot of rain. But so coming up, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. They did drop that. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, one down, one to go on the tornado warning. But we're still monitoring here because the storms are still active. We did have the cell earlier today that came into Marion County and is still showing at least some weak rotation as it now works in toward the north side of Lake George. So, Brian, we'll see what they do with this. Melbourne takes up warning responsibility for Volusia County, and then Jacksonville takes over warning responsibility once we get farther north. So we kind of have 3 different Weather Service offices and the Tom and Brian show all watching the thunderstorms through here. But, Brian, that cell right now continues to move in to the north. Otherwise, we have canceled all of the other tornado warnings for our coverage area.
Yeah, Sumter and Lake, not officially a warning at this point. A heavy thunderstorm rolling into Lake County. That may be waking you up. You can see just crossing the turnpike. A lot of the action has been where the turnpike hits 75 and just to the south. That's where we've been seeing some of it there. There's that severe thunderstorm that has been weakening some, pulling out of Marion County.
Let's check that in again here. Yeah. Yeah, just wind as far as I can tell. Straight line probably. So, yeah, keeping an eye on that. So that's going to be moving. They'll let that expire. They may issue a severe thunderstorm warning, though, coming in just north of Volusia County. So that would be just north of Lake George. So keeping an eye there as that cell. Everything's moving east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. We're still gathering in the newsroom any reports that we may have had. We did have some damage reports in the Clearwater area. This was about 2 hours ago now, and also a couple reports in Crystal River, including damage to a home, I believe, in the Crystal River area. So it's very early. Once folks get up and around, hopefully they find that things are intact.
Yeah, and there's some power lines down over toward Crystal River, along with some of that roof damage. Emergency manager reporting a tornado in the Crystal River area, and we are tracking that storm that rolled. That's actually still in Marion County, but it's weakened, and right now just 1 tornado warning on the map. We had 4 just a few minutes ago, so now we have 1, and we're going to watch these cells 2 rolling on shore.
Yeah, here's the last couple of hours, and this is when everything came ashore from the Gulf Coast and continues to move rapidly east at about 35 miles an hour. So storms continue to work their way through and just on the north side of downtown Orlando, but we are comfortably away from the worst of the activity here in the metro area, getting closer to 4 o'clock now. It's all quiet. We're good for Seminole County. We're still pretty good for Lake County. A couple of strong cells through here we're going to keep an eye on near the turnpike, approaching the south side of the villages. And then it's mainly just all rain through here. The gustiness is still north generally. And that's where I think the trend is going to be.
Yeah, and that's what you were showing on Feature Track a few minutes ago. There's some of the heavier weather again rolling into Denellen. That is not a warned storm, but close to Denellen. So we're seeing these batches of rain, and you get these, you could get some blinding downpours out of this with a couple quick inches of rain as this moves in. So parts of Lake Sumter, heavier weather, Marion, of course, and then watching the tornado warning.
I think my box needs to get a reboot.
Needs to breathe? Okay, go ahead and do that.
So, yeah, tornado warning for Levy County, but generally that's the only tornado warning that we currently have. But it's been a very active morning here, as you know, if you've been following us here all morning long.
Let's take you into Lake County right now, Lake and Sumter, where we have some of these storms that are moving in and kind of lining up, too. Again, these both had warnings earlier. Webster, Bushnell, some heavier weather getting very close by here, 75. Here's the turnpike across 27, and you see again this rolling in. Neither one of these have a warning on them, but again some of the heavier weather that's rolling in, and that is going to, as we zoom down toward Lake County, just to let you know, because you know we're on TV and you may be hearing you know weather waking you up, and you want to know if it's severe or not. But it is a strong storm near Leesburg, Okahumpka, close to Astatula. A few lightning strikes in Astatula, and that'll move toward Umatilla and Eustis. So we have some heavier weather there. Not a warning on this, but a strong thunderstorm moving in. The warnings we have 2 of them are to the north of there. We have the tornado warning here. This one, again, back to the the west of Marion County, and then we have a severe thunderstorm warning still out for the next at least a few minutes in western or eastern Marion County.
So things beginning to settle a little bit here. Brian and I, he's got to get ready for a show coming up here. You got a show in 40 minutes.
Thank you.
So we're going to be live starting at 4:30. Eyewitness News this morning. We're going to be closely watching for any additional trouble coming in from the Gulf Coast, any additional damage reports coming on through. But otherwise, we're going to send you back to your normal, very early morning programming, including some coffee, I'm sure. Stay tuned to Channel 9. We'll keep you advised, going over the latest data coming in. And Brian, of course, will take over here in just a few minutes. Good morning.
Good morning.
We'll see you guys coming up. Stay tuned. We'll keep you advised.